possible volcanic eruption.
A very unique geological location.
The Philippine government is urging anyone who has evacuated not to go back home again.
I've always been curious to see an active volcano, so I researched the most unique ones in the world. That's when I discovered Taal Volcano. It's the smallest active volcano and a true geographical wonder. This quiet legend has erupted 34 times, including a massive eruption in 2020. Here are some of the biggest questions I wanted to tackle. 1. Why is this the most unique geographical volcano on Earth? 2. How do the local people nearby live despite the constant threat? 3. Once there, you can only access the island by boat, as no one is allowed to set foot on Taal Island. Therefore, I'll attempt to fly my drone above the crater with all the possibility of volcanic activity. I noticed strange objects in the water near the volcano. What in the world are these? Could these be remnants of past eruptions, or from the local industry, or something else entirely? Let's find out together. Let's go. That just started coming out of the mountain right now. The sulfuric acid in the air from the volcano. And they said it was so bad, people were having trouble breathing, they were throwing up. Now in 1911 is one of the biggest eruptions where 2,000 people died. All right, let's go. This is the most unique volcano you're ever going to see. Taal Volcano is an island on a lake, on an island, on a lake, on an island in the ocean. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. We have Vulcan Island and Vulcan Point right there, the actual volcano. Crater Lake's going to be highlighted. So we have an island within the lake, and then another island, and then we have Taal Lake. And once again, we're going to zoom all the way out, and you're going to see this is on Luzon Island. It's the largest island in the Philippines. So let's go ahead and continue. This is the Taal caldera within the volcano. And if you go all the way out, there's another caldera, the outer caldera from a very long time ago, still the danger zone. So what exactly is a caldera? Well, the basic definition you're going to see on the upper part of the screen, but why it's so important, it's going to predict potential future eruptions for scientists. So let's go ahead and continue on our little road trip and get to Taal Volcano. This is a bit of the village and the town. I'm going to look for a boat driver, so let's go. So I am negotiating my boat to the volcano, and the boat's gonna look something like that. Looks like it's about $25 for about an hour, maybe hour and a half. We're gonna negotiate how long, maybe hour and a half. I said I need to film a little bit. So 2 key concerns. 1, I need to get my drone to the crater. It's only about 2 miles, maybe 1.5 miles from the boat once I get near Taal Island. And then also, there are hundreds of these squares all around the volcano. I need to figure out what these are. A little bit. So what, in 2020, I think it was January 12th?
Yes, January 12th.
Yeah. What was it like? The volcano here erupted very big. What happened? What was that like?
When the volcano is erupted, he will blow up that lava.
Yeah,
and
lava
then,
came out.
And then all people live there, going to town of Talisay, and the other people there in Cavite, Santo Tomas, part of Batangas. Also, people live here in the town of Talisay. They go to the other place.
All right, so we found our boat. Yeah, thank you. Really, 2 nice guys. So I'm gonna get on the boat here. My boat's name is Dubai. So I got my life jacket on. It barely fits. But I got a bigger surprise for you. Literally, I just got in the boat, and there's a big thing of smoke. Oh, let me flip it around. I'm kind of speechless right now. That just started coming out of the mountain right now. That's amazing. And we're going right for it, actually. But this is surrounded with fish farms. If you can see around up here, all the fish farms. And this is a whole nother story I'm going to get into later. So right behind me, the volcano just, I'm not going to say erupted, but it's probably sulfate emissions that are coming out. And that is a pleasant surprise, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't get too insane out here, but I'm hoping to get the drone close to it also, so we'll see what that looks like.
Because of all the recent small eruptions and earthquakes, it's a permanent danger zone on the island. You cannot go on. I can't go on, no one can. And so that's kind of the law right now, and they made this in 2022.
I have a side note that really doesn't matter. This is the most uncomfortable life jacket I've ever had in my life. So in 1572, this volcano had a massive eruption. It erupted for over 200 days, creating a lot of chaos. The surrounding cities or villages had to move away, but for 200 days, nearly 6 months, this erupted. Now in 1911 is one of the biggest eruptions where 2,000 people died. Throughout the years, there's been about 34 eruptions. Now I read 34 eruptions on Wikipedia. I read 54 eruptions. So it just kind of depends. But what I'm reading is 34 eruptions since 1572.
So another aspect and danger of these volcanoes is something called volcanic smog, or they say VOG, V-O-G. It emits a lot of breathing problems with the type of gas that it's released. Coughing, sore throat, watery eyes, headaches, flu-like symptoms, and a range of other health effects. It can also give you long-term effects. And when the volcano actually erupts, it gets pushed out to different villages and towns, and it makes a load of different problems.
So Angelo, my driver, right there, he was telling me January 12th, 2020, when the eruption happened here, it was massive. Everyone evacuated, I'm sure a number of different towns and villages. I read something like it was 30 to 40 miles, a radius around there. That's what he was kind of telling me, maybe larger than that.
So there's a seismic department working, I assume, with the government here. I'll put the name below. And they have a seismic monitoring system with a network of 15 seismic stations all around the region here, waiting for another disaster like in 2020, where again, I'll show you a map before and after in 2020, what this place looked like. It's one of the deadlier volcanoes in the Philippines, in the top 3, not to mention Mount Pinatubo in 1991 that kind of wiped out the whole U.S. Air Base, Clark Airfield.
So the big question, what are these structures? They are everywhere. Caught my eye on Google Maps, and they're perfectly square, basically. And as we zoom in, I just wanted to see the exact shape, and it does not disappoint. I mean, they're all there. And let's go to the actual site with my drone and see. So these are fish farms. And why are these structures so important? We're going to get into this. So the fish farms in the Taal Volcano area in Taal Lake thrive to the lake's mineral-rich waters from the volcanic caldera. But it's not just the location. Locals rely on fishing for their livelihood, farming tilapia and bangus. The Taal Lake sardine, the only freshwater sardine in the world, is also unique to the area. Therefore, these farms are crucial to the region's economy and culture.
For a lot of people here, if you're a fisherman, this is the way you make a living. And with the volcano and other issues, the changing waters, sulfuric acid in the water, if it does erupt, their livelihood as far as what they can bring to the table, what they can make, their average salary, it's always kind of up and down depending on what's happening with the volcano. But they press on and they keep going.
So this is my attempt to reach the volcano's crater. You're gonna see X, that's where I came from. I'm on the boat right now, but I'm preparing to get to Taal Volcano. You can see the boat where I am at. I have to go about 1.5 to 2 miles into the crater, and I'm not sure if I can do this. Here's the landscape, but there's bad weather looming, some strong winds. I only have about 20 minutes of my flight time. So as you can see, I'm getting a little bit closer. I wanted to see the canopy as I went to the volcano. The other challenge is making sure, like I said, I have enough power to get back. Therefore, I must navigate this perfectly, and I don't know exactly what I'm doing. The distance, account for this weather, and get it back to the boat, because landing this can be harder than anything. But as you see, I have reached the crater, and I'm just seeing a little bit of Vulcan Point. You see that little part of the island in the center, that's Vulcan Point. I cannot be more excited. This is exactly what it looks like, and I was just kind of shocked that I got it this far, and then right after this I had to get it back with time running out. So I'm going to give you a little bonus and show you what it looked like before the eruption. Very green compared to now, so take a look. In the morning, I was flying the drone. I met two ladies, like 26, 27, and they live in Laguna. It's about an hour and a half from here. And I asked them, what was the volcano like in 2020? They did want to be on camera, fair enough. So they were saying from the sulfuric acid in the air from the volcano. Now they live an hour and a half away. And they said it was so bad, people were having trouble breathing, they were throwing up. You had to take showers like every couple of hours, or like every 6 hours, because the acid was getting on your skin and irritating you and giving you like rashes, which is insane, you know, to be an hour and a half away by car. Another story. Everyone I run into here, I try and ask them what it was like when that volcano went off in 2020. So it took them, he was saying, Angelo here, 2 months to clean everything up after the volcano. In 2020 it was about 30 days. 30 days of the eruption, and then they cleaned it up afterwards. So the journey is just about done, but as I head away from Taal Volcano and back to Manila, I'm back on the road, but there are 2 locations that I found on Google Maps and some other sites that talk about abandoned places, and this is something you really need to hear. So I'm closing in on Fantasy World. I'm right off one of the small roads here. Now, this was the Filipinos' attempt at Disneyland back in the day. It's completely abandoned. And then I went to Porta Azul. This was a golf mecca paradise before, and now it's in ruins. Looks a little bit like Jurassic Park after that whole complex fell apart. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate this episode of Traveling on the Go. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. Anything else I can do for you, I am here. That's going to do it. I am out of here. We have a lot more adventures coming up, like into the deserts of Dubai and the biggest waterfall system in the world in Brazil. Take care, guys.